Hello and welcome to California Up Now. I'm Claudia Iseman, and today our topic is immigration. Our guest today is Hedi Framm-Anton, and she's an immigration attorney here in San Francisco. Thanks so much for taking time and coming and visiting us.
My pleasure. It's a very important topic.
Great. Let's start right off the bat with, is immigration under attack in our country?
Absolutely, completely, utterly. I can say that both by the policies that President Trump has spoken and addressed to in speeches, as well as the people he's put in place in charge of Department of Homeland Security and the Attorney General as well.
And explain to our viewers what it is you do to help them immigrate to our country.
That's an excellent question, because an immigration lawyer is not necessarily someone that defends people that are here undocumented. There's a huge bulk of us that only do business immigration and work with people in the Silicon Valley and bring people over legally to work in corporations. Enormous. Mm-hmm. Me, I'm more down in the trenches. I'm probably maybe what 30 to 40% of immigration lawyers do, which is deportation defense. That's my utter passion and one of the most unpopular aspects of immigration law for many lawyers, because it's so stressful, you don't get a lot of money, and you have people that have only been in the United States for maybe 30, 40 days.
So you're a rare commodity.
I would say so. Yeah, I've been doing it for 40 years.
So what about if your parents are illegal, but you were born in the United States? How does that work?
Well, that's a huge dilemma, because about 30 or 40 years ago, a congressman decided that the only reason people were coming here was to have anchor babies.
Right.
So he ensured that legislation was passed that people who came undocumented, who had U.S. citizen children, that the U.S. citizen children would be barred from ever immigrating their parents if they had entered illegally. So there you go. You have these split families. And I think what's important for our viewers to understand is the motivation for people to come to this country.
Yes, that's very important. Exactly.
Is compelled by really strong reasons. You don't like to leave your country, your family, your culture, everything that you know. I mean, normally it's economic deprivation of an extreme.
Right.
In Central America right now, it's violence beyond the pale. The gangs control Central America. And as I was telling my husband this morning, so much of these problems in Latin America were caused by actions of the United States years ago.
Right.
And so I could go on and on and on. I'm a virtual, history tour, because I've been doing this for 40 years.
Right.
So it's extremely frustrating to me to listen to the gentleman who is now in power address these issues in a vacuum. I'm going to build a wall. He reiterated that that's one of the first things he's going to address in his first 100 days.
Okay, now there was some talk that he had backed off of that. Do you feel, no, he is coming on even stronger about building the wall?
I do, because from my point of view, he's the kind of personality that he wants to show that if he says he's going to do something, he'll get it done. He can get it done, all right? Apart from the consequences to the environment, apart from the consequences to the economy and all of that, it's just the very fact that he is sealing us off from a country that has been our buffer between Central America and the United States. A country where right now the peso has plunged 100%, and the civil discord, the humanitarian crisis, the kind of economic factors that drive people to this country, he's exacerbating them by these kinds of actions. So
how is that going to work? What are the nuts and bolts of that?
Your guess is as good as mine. The only thing I can assure you is people will keep coming.
Right.
All right? They'll find a way.
El Chapo, right?
El Chapo. The wall isn't going to do anything at all other than make things much worse than they already are. And business has increased 200% since he was elected. All right? The phone calls have increased probably by 150%. Nobody can keep up with the amount of people that want appointments. And it's a desperation and a fear. So also you have a very vulnerable community, and it's very easy for them to be sucked into people that go, don't worry, if you file this, you'll be okay. That's what I worry about too. So it's just so many different levels of negativity, this fear-based.
It is.
Yeah.
So if you want job security, go into immigration law, maybe.
I wouldn't have said that 10 years ago, but I'm saying it right now. I never would have expected this. I mean, I was thinking of phasing out, and now it's going to probably be like this for another 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
So we'll just see. Yeah.
All right, we're going to take a break right
Sure.
now, and then we'll come back and we'll talk more about immigration on California Up Now.
Would you like to win a complete makeover? In order to participate, you must like Salon DNA San Francisco along with Attitude Show, both pages on Facebook, and share, and follow us on Instagram. So make sure to tell all your friends and family, and I will see the lucky winner soon at Salon DNA.
Hello and welcome back to California Up Now. We are talking immigration today, and our guest this morning today is Hedi, and she is going to talk about political asylum. Tell us what's going on with that right now.
That's practically the only thing I'm doing right now. The reason I love my country so much, and the reason I am so concerned about President Trump, is the United States has the most generous policy for asylum in the world.
Yes.
I have traveled in Europe. I have a sister who lives in Berlin. I've met German lawyers because I was so interested in the asylum process. Very simply, the European Union, you have to file for asylum the first place that you step in Europe. Mm-hmm. So therefore, that's why so many people are trapped in Greece, and if you travel to another country, they won't hear your claim. Let me tell you a story. This happened a week ago. I've been representing a Mexican family for several years. It's comprised of a woman, 9 daughters, and tremendous domestic violence and sexual abuse. Some of the girls got out and have filed for asylum now, and they are fine. They came to me 3 weeks ago and they said there's one daughter that's left. She's tried to get away. She finally escaped. She's on the border in Tijuana.
Get away from the father?
Get away from the father and an abusive husband. And she's 6 months pregnant with twins.
Oh, no.
What I did was I prepared an asylum application. I sent her to the San Isidro border crossing station. There's a pedestrian line that you walk through, and you say, I want asylum. 2 days later, I called the family. I said, I haven't heard from you. What happened to Rosalinda? Oh, she's here with us now in San Jose. That's the beauty and generosity of my country. I don't want to give the impression this woman now has a green card or a blue passport that says she's a U.S. citizen.
Right.
It's much more complicated than that. But there's a basic tenet of U.S. law which says if you express a fear of return to your home country on account of persecution, the Border Patrol is obligated to let you in. And that is something and a right that is so precious to me. Donald Trump has expressed in many different kinds of meetings and memos that this is something that he feels should be vetted, that he feels that once you file for asylum and even after the case has been granted by an asylum officer, when that person moves on to the next stage, which is applying for permanent residence, that the asylum case should be revisited a second time and explored to ensure that there's no fraud. Of course there's fraud, but I would say it's maybe 5%.
So in other words, these people will be subject to even more judgment than...
Absolutely. Absolutely, because there's a perception that people lie. And it's true, of course, there's a certain percentage of that in everything. So if they come to see me, they're opening up and talking about something that has been secret and taboo.
So you're kind of part therapist too, aren't you?
It's very much a spiritual healing process as well, which is why I love asylum, because it opens the door for the person to become self-empowered, proud of who they are, and no longer be identified by their sexual preference, but what they like to do in life. That's my goal. That's why I love what I do.
How gratifying is that?
I adore that.
Okay, let's talk a minute about the Bay Area and some of the business owners that are illegal. How will Trump's policies affect them?
That's an excellent question as well, and I would think that they would be the least impacted, at least in the state of California. The federal government wants its money. If you pay your taxes, they will happily take whatever money that is theirs and give you back whatever you are entitled to, and they don't care if you're documented or not. You can get a special tax ID number to file your taxes, which the federal government invented so undocumented people could pay their taxes. So people who have prosperous businesses, who have a valid driver's license because of the law that they now passed for that, I don't think they are at risk.
Okay.
I am much more concerned with people who are in the system.
If somebody wants to contact you, they're having immigration troubles, how do they do it?
They would call my phone number for my office, which is 415-824-4073. We're extremely busy.
Do
so
you have
have
a
to.
name of your law office, or
Yeah,
just look
it's Hedi, Hedi, Framm, Framm -Anton, Anton. Yes.
All right, great. Well, thank you so much
Oh,
for
it's my
coming.
pleasure.
Yes,
Thank
you've
you.
been a very informative guest.
Thank you. Thank you.
And thank you for watching California Up Now. We'll see you next time.